Oh my god. What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Now if you guys remember, long time ago, I think it was my first or second video, I addressed my clogged sunroof drains in the Land Cruiser 100 series. Basically the drains on the sunroof clogged up, which caused the water to come into the cabin whenever it rained. Now since I did that video and cleared out the sunroof drain, the problem went away for a little bit. Lately, I've noticed there is a lot of water coming into the cabin once again. Not only is it coming into the cabin, but it is causing the horn to go off like crazy in the middle of the night, and also the door locks to freak out. I did recently just check the sunroof drains again, and they are functioning as they should, draining the water from the sunroof directly down to the pinch weld on either side. Upon further inspection, I think I figured out where the water is coming from, and I want to share it with you guys. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, and for more Land Cruiser and Overland content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's check it out. So here is what we're working on. It is my 1999 Toyota Land Cruiser, and just like most of you guys out there, you can tell by this logo right here that this is not an OEM Toyota windshield. So I believe sometime in the past, the previous owner probably cracked the OE windshield and got it replaced with an aftermarket piece. So the windshield seems to be installed pretty decently. I never notice any type of wind noise coming through the windshield. The only wind noise that I get is from the daylighters up there, but that's a different story. So I'm guessing the problem is with these moldings right here. So this is the passenger side molding. Now let me move this harness out of the way. This is where I was hiding the harness for the roof lights, but behind it you can kind of see there's a little gap in between. Now I don't know if we can get a closer look at this, but if you see closely right here where my finger is at, there's a big hump. There's also one up here, but that's it. There's no more. Now, from my understanding, the way that this molding is held down, there is 4 plastic rivets that go along the side. And I'm assuming when they replaced the windshield last, they did not have the plastic rivets and they replaced it with something else. But there's only one way to find out, is remove this inner molding and see what's back there. To get to the inner liner of the molding, it's actually relatively easy. All you need to do is get a screwdriver and you can pry it out. But before I even do that, I noticed that whoever installed the molding last did it a little bit incorrect. They have the liner all the way squeezed up top, where it should actually be closer to the bottom of the windshield. But either way, let's take it out and take a look. There it goes. It shouldn't have any type of glue on there, so it should come out relatively easy, unlike mine. There we go. And this molding is pretty beat. I did get new stuff, so I don't have to take precaution removing this guy. But if you plan to reuse yours, kind of check the condition first, because yeah, they're usually pretty beat by the time you get to take them out. Off the bat, I can already see something that's wrong. If you look down here, there is a self-tapping screw in place of the plastic rivet. Same thing with down here, and in the other 2 holes down here and up here, there is actually nothing at all. So basically, besides the little cover that was covering the holes right there, the water can go into the hole, into the A-pillar, and drip straight down into your footwell. So thank you, previous owner. Now let's see if we get lucky on the driver's side, but I can already see there's also 2 bumps where there shouldn't be, and no bumps on the top and bottom. So let's take it out. This molding liner is also seen better days. It's pretty tweaked and worn from like weather and the sun, the heat, and all that stuff. So again, this guy is going to get replaced. Underneath, yep, 1 screw, 2 screws holding in the molding, and the top and bottom are both left open. So I'm 99% sure that's where all the rainwater is going through to the inside of the vehicle. So I'm going to replace this molding with the correct rivets and see if that helps. Before I take apart the Land Cruiser, I wanted to show you guys what parts that I was still able to get from Toyota. Obviously, number one, we have the correct rivets. Now, these guys are plastic from what I remember. Yes, they are, if you can see right here. And they're supposed to seal against moisture and water and whatnot. So don't use regular aluminum rivets for these guys. For this, make sure you get the correct ones. This is the part number right here, but don't worry about the part number. I'll have everything that I use in this video listed down below, so you know exactly what to get if you're trying to do this job as well. Next up, we have the little molding liners, the part that blocks off the rivets from the outside world. So I got 2 of these guys. And then lastly, like, you may or may not have to get these, but this is the actual molding on the side. These guys were the most expensive. I think they're about $200 a piece. So, you know, if yours are still in decent condition, you might be able to reuse them. But for me, since I'm already doing it and they're coming out and one of them is slightly bent, I'm going to be replacing both of these guys. So let's just take one out and see what it looks like. Wrapped pretty nicely. All right, this is the new molding right here. This is the bottom piece that goes on the bottom of the windshield underneath the cowling. So because it's so small, I think I should be able to fish this end out of the cowling without having to remove it. Obviously, you can see there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 holes for the rivets to go through. Plastic obviously is really nice. I can't wait to get it onto the Land Cruiser to see how it looks. And then on the back right here, this is the flap that gets bent the most. So if somebody's replaced your windshield before and reused the old moldings, more than likely this section would be bent, because what they do is they just kind of pull and it bends this part right here. Mine is bent on the passenger side. I think the driver's side is okay. But either way, I'm going to be replacing both of these guys. And on the back, these are very simple. They're just stuck on with double-sided tape, and it's provided from the factory, which is kind of cool. So next up, I am going to try removing the old moldings. There we go. There is self-tapping screw number 1. Now this guy looks pretty big. Hopefully it didn't ruin the hole inside the A-pillar, but I will check as soon as I get the molding off. Now for number 2. There we go. The same self-tapping screw. I don't know what they found this off of. Probably some drywall or something, but it looks like it's out. I don't think there's anything else holding the molding in, so it's time to come out. So I was able to get the passenger side molding out, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 holes go straight into the A-pillar, and I'm assuming that's where the water was coming from. But on a side note, good thing I got the moldings, because these old ones were pretty bad and they broke into 2 pieces when I got them off. So this is supposed to be here somewhere, but it broke off. And of course there's all this junk double-sided tape. Looks like I've got a little bit of cleaning up to do before I can install the new moldings. So now with the gutters cleaned up pretty good as I can get it, it is time to put the molding in. The key to installing the molding is making sure you have the holes lined up for the rivets. Other than that, it's just double-sided tape at the top, and you got to hook it in on the bottom. So let's do that really quick. Very easy to get it in there. And then next up, you got to line up the holes. So you want to make sure all 4 holes are lined up. Once they're lined up, you can remove the double-sided tape backing at the top near the roof area, and then you're ready to install. Make sure you push it down firm, because literally all that's holding this top part in is the double-sided tape. And then double check that your holes are still lined up, which I did look, and mine look like they're still good. So installing these rivets are actually kind of tricky. The reason being is once you have the rivet in the hole, it's very difficult to get the rivet gun in there absolutely flush with the mounting point, and you really want it as flush as possible so that way the rivet can hold everything down and then break off. So what I figured out was an easy way. I didn't have like any special tools or anything. I just used this small nut. I think it's an 8mm nylon lock nut. It's just like anything that you can find is small that will fit into this little groove. Put the rivet in to the molding, put the little nut in there as well, so that acts as a small spacer for the rivet gun. And then after that, we can put the rivet gun in. Now this is the tricky part. You want to push it all the way into the molding, so make sure the molding is butt up against the A-pillar before you start squeezing. Right there, I think it is. Make sure it's perpendicular. Then start ratcheting that rivet down. And assuming that you did it right, the molding should be nice and firm against the A-pillar. So let me go ahead and do all the others. As you can see, it is already late at night, and I finally just got this guy done. There was an issue with the holes on my A-pillars. I guess when the previous owner had the windshield replaced, the guy that did the windshield, when he drilled out the factory rivets, he used a slightly bigger drill bit, so the hole was bigger. Hence I had to get a slightly bigger rivet. The factory ones no longer worked, so whenever I try to clamp down on them, they would just pop out and the molding would be super loose. So I got a slightly bigger rivet, put a little bit of silicone on there, and then threw it on, and right now the molding is very, very sturdy. So that should be good. If this is your case as well, if you have the same issue, then I will leave a list of the parts that I use, including the size of rivet and all that stuff, in the description down below. So one last thing I'd have to do is put the little, I guess the cover on, the little, I don't know what that thing is called. It's like a molding cover that covers the rivets. Once I put that guy on, I should be good to go. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so we'll see if there is any puddles on the footwell. Hopefully there isn't. You can see this one is actually all fitted and nice and not wiggly or anything like that. So hopefully there will be no more rain, but we'll see. Alright guys, so right now it is the next day. It actually rained all day yesterday, pretty hard I think. Let's check out the Land Cruiser. Off the bat, it is a lot cleaner already. I think it was one of the heaviest rains we've had all year yesterday. And let's take a look at the interior. So it looks like the passenger side has some water still. Let's see underneath the carpet. Yep, the carpet is wet as well. You can see the trail of water that just kind of goes down from right here. I'm wondering where it's from. Obviously it is no longer from the moldings, so I'm thinking the seal at the bottom corner of the windshield might not be sealing properly, so I'll have to double check that. But it looks like it's a little bit less than before considering how much rain there was. Let me check the driver's side. Ooh, the driver's side, there is actually a huge puddle. You can see that right there. And obviously, yep, the carpet is still dripping. And on the driver's side, it's not as noticeable as far as where it's coming from. It's not like on the passenger side where there's a bunch of water on the side kick panel. I think it's coming from more of the center area. So I'm pretty sure whatever was leaking from this molding previously was no longer. Now I think it might be leaking on the bottom edge of the windshield. Luckily, I had the horn fuse pulled out for last night from the previous rain, which was earlier this week, so the horn didn't go off like crazy, and the door locks still seem to be working. If I lock, unlock, yeah, so they seem to be working. So there is definitely less water coming into the cabin, but there is still some that is getting into the carpet and making a mess. You can see it's been getting into the carpet for a while now. There is a little like a water level mark right there on the carpet. So here we are at the end of the video, and unfortunately there is still water getting into the Land Cruiser somehow. Now, the amount of water has actually gotten a lot less considering how much rain there was last night, but it's not completely gone. So I'm assuming there were multiple leaks right around the windshield area. Since I changed out the moldings, which were the most obvious leaks, now I gotta do a leak test on the windshield and see where the actual leak is coming from. It seems like there is some from the driver's side and some from the passenger side as well. But we'll save that for another video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and for more Land Cruiser and Overland content, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.